Hi everyone, and welcome to Two-Player Quest, where I help you on your quest to find the best two-player board games for you. In today's video, I have RuneScape Kingdoms, Shadow of Elvarg by Steamforged Games. In RuneScape, you explore the world of RuneScape, you know, the one from the video game, but then in this co-op board game, you explore, you roll dice, roll checks, and fulfill side quests to level up your skills. And you'll need these skills to do the main quest and beat the boss. How does it play and what is it like? Well, let's explore. RuneScape is a game for 1 to 5 players that plays in 60 to 90 minutes according to the box. Now, our sessions usually last about 3 hours, but me and my husband have been known to stretch out our games. You certainly can play this game in 60 to 90 minutes, and maybe you should play this game in 60 to 90 minutes rather than the 3 hours that we take, but that is how we enjoy our game. Just know that you are not completely bound to those time limits. It's at a 2.21 on Board Game Geek for complexity, so it's certainly still an easy game, and it is a high luck game. It's all dice rolls, random card draws, so a lot of luck. This is what the table will look like at the start of a 2-player game. So we have the main quest board. I just see that this is apparently where you put the danger cards. Great, didn't actually know that yet. One of the things you learn when you're filming videos. This is the main quest board, so we are currently fighting the Vampire Slayer. Then you have the game board. This is the Kingdom of RuneScape. We have one character up there with their side quest and their main item. That is the current danger deck. The mini boss board we might need later, equipment that we might need later, initiative items that we will need later. Here I have basically made a tub of all the tokens. There are a lot of tokens in this game, a lot of different ones. We decided to just put them all in one tub basically. And then on this side you have your vault deck, normal event deck, and specific event decks. And at the bottom here, we have this player. So we have their player sheet with their name, wounds, objectives, how many side quests, their skills, and some cheat sheets, and their one item card. So we're making one ranger and one mage at this point. And this player currently has the dice. Now, the game is very simple on your turn. In this case, let's say it is the ranger's turn. For their side quest, they want to go past the Grand Exchange, so they make one movement toward the Grand Exchange. Because for this quest, they just quickly need to visit the Grand Exchange. You can even place a token on it to say, well, I've been there. Now, that was move. You could teleport from anywhere to any capital, so those are the big ones, but that would cost you 1 coin. At the moment, we don't have any coins. So here in the Grand Exchange, now unfortunately the Grand Exchange is something that's special. There are some special actions in the Grand Exchange because it's basically the marketplace, but for now we are just going to do the normal action, which is explore. So you take the Varric card, because this is the Varric region, and you read what it says at the Grand Exchange. So here we can try to gain 2 gold pieces. You see the symbol, in this case this is a gathering skill check. They want you to have the skill of 3. Now, the amount of dice you roll depends on the skill check. So in this case, they want you to have level 3 gathering. If you have less than the desired level, you get 1 die. If you have exactly the desired level, you get 2 dice. And if you have more than the desired level, you get 3 dice. And the extra die is only added with, for example, a card. In my case, I could get an extra if I did a ranged roll. In this case, I only have 1 die. And to know what is a success is the other number. So in this case, a 6 up would be a success. In this case, I rolled a 4. That's not a success, but there is no fail condition on this card. But because I used a certain skill, I rolled it, I gain an XP in that skill. Once you get your 3rd XP in a certain skill, you go up 1 level. So if I were to roll 2 more times for a gathering skill, I would go to level 2 of gathering. Then I would do the bonus action. Now, the bonus action is what it says here at the bottom. So you can either gather what it is, in this case that is flour, So I would then take 1 flower from the supply and add it to my resources. Or sometimes they are skills in which you must hand in resources to get certain number of XP, and they have to be different resources, but you can read all about that in the rulebook. And then it is the next player's turn. And that is basically the essence of the game. You move, do an action or explore. You can do a bonus action, which in this case was grab the item, the resource that we got. You can also choose to grab more side quests. You can always have a maximum of 2 side quests in total. In capital cities, you will see these icons here. So here, once you get there, you could pay 1 coin to get 1 XP in defense or gathering, or 2 XP to gain 1 defense, 2 coins to gain 1 XP in melee, magic, or crafting. If you end your turn in a capital city, you need to up the danger level, which is this one. If this were to end up at the top of the track, you would need to grab the next danger card. You continue taking turns until you either finish the main quest, and that tells you to summon the boss, or you go so far on the danger track that tells you to summon the boss. If ever a hero would die, then that would be the end of the game, and you win the game if you defeat the boss at the end. Teaching this game to new players is relatively easy. It would take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes depending on sort of how quickly your players pick stuff up. And I would divide the rules over certain sections. So for example, the boss rules, so how you fight the boss at the end of the campaign, as they like to call it, aka 1 session. You would do that, those rules, I would explain those when you come to that point, and then again it's probably about 5 minutes. It's basically, oh, you move and you can do something. That's it. So 5 minutes tops at that point again. So relatively easy. You'll be able to start relatively quickly as well. So who is this a good game for? Well, obviously if you liked the game, the video game of course, then there are a lot of Easter eggs in this game and it probably can be a lot of fun. Me and my husband both played RuneScape when we were younger in our teenage years, but that is a long time ago now. So for us, it's not necessarily got that nostalgia factor just yet, but maybe we'll consider playing RuneScape and finding out. In general, if you take away the RuneScape aspect of the game, it is a complete sandbox. It is up to you to do something. You don't even have to do the main quest. You can just completely leave that aside. At some point, the game will trigger the end game, so it will trigger the boss, but you don't have to fulfill the main quest. You can just stick to side quests if you want to. You can just walk around as much as you want, basically, until the end game is triggered. So that sandbox element needs to be something that you like, but you can, of course, just stick to the main quest and do as the game tells you to do, basically. It's also interesting that if you like it, you are very open to making your own character. So you are not set in certain classes for characters. So you don't necessarily have to have a wizard and a mage and a ranger and whatever. You can make a whole party full of rangers if you wanted to. That's up to you. There are no set classes or max amount of classes. It is completely open to what you want to put your skills in. So if that's something you like, then this could also be a good fit. We like the game. We like the sandbox element of doing basically whatever the hell you want. We also like that you can choose your own skills. You can make what you want. You are not set in these certain ways. That's something that's really interesting to us and something that appealed to us when we were looking into the game. Now, the RuneScape theme is fun, of course, because yes, we have both played RuneScape, but not that properly, basically. So we didn't care about the IP too much, but it's still a good game. Now, we have noticed something that is a bit more annoying for us, and that is after you've played a campaign is basically one session. They call that a campaign. So you have the campaign of the Vampire Slayer to start with, and then you have like a Demon Slayer. Continuing on, you sort of have 4 campaigns in the base game. Once you go from campaign 1 to campaign 2, you have a certain amount of skills. But once you get from 2 to 3 mainly, you have surpassed the amount of skills that you basically need to keep the game interesting. So if you were to start at 2, the rulebook tells you, oh, you have X amount of skills and you can divide them over X. But if you take the skills that you had from all the previous games, which is what you do when you just play one full playthrough, then you are basically so skilled up by the time that you play session 3 that nothing's interesting anymore. You're always almost double in all of the things. You have so many items that make what you are doing almost feel useless, basically. You always need to roll either a 1 or a 2 and sometimes a 3, and other than that, that's it. So it sort of takes away the intenseness of this game. So that is a bit of a shame. For us, we still think it's a good game. It will still come out at some points. Probably not as one big, we'll play everything after each other, but more of, oh, you know what I feel like playing tonight? RuneScape, and then we quickly make characters, as the rulebook says, basically, and go from there. The game does play better with more players. You generally get the same sort of amount of things while playing with 2 players or playing with 4 players, but with 4 players, those things, skills, XP, items, they're all divided over 4 players rather than 2. So there is a much smaller chance of becoming overpowered with 4 than there is with 2. Not to say that it's not a good 2-player game, it still is a good 2-player game, but I certainly think that with 4 players it does become more interesting and more balanced. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching our review of RuneScape Kingdoms, Shadow of Elvarg. If you want to see another one of my reviews, click up here. If you have any comments, feedback, or suggestions, feel free to put them down below, and I look forward to seeing you next time on 2 Player Quest.